What's going on, guys? Fuller here with Custom Offsets, Custom Offsets TV on the YouTube, joined by this guy, but I'm not going to tell you who he is yet because that's actually part of our first question. So today we're asking a Ford guy 10 questions. First question is super easy. Who are you? What do you drive?
I'm Kirk. I run operations and customer service here at Custom Offsets, and I drive a 2013 Ford F-150. And a 2016 Ford Shelby GT350.
And
a 2017 VW Jetta.
so you have a lot of vehicles.
Only 3.
So the first question is kind of a freebie, but then the second question, so 2/3 of your vehicles are Fords. What makes Ford so good?
Mainly the look. However, I did grow up in a Ford family, so of course whatever your family grows up with is usually what I like the most. And I do simply like the look of them the most, which is why I buy lots of them.
You have the GT350 and the F-150.
Yep.
What one do you prefer?
More recently, the GT350s.
But it's still new, so is it because it's just new to you?
Yeah, probably. I have 80,000 miles on my F-150 and I bought that brand new. So I definitely used and abused that truck to the fullest. I drove it year round here in Wisconsin, which I probably shouldn't have, but I don't drive it at all anymore. I've taken it out 3 times this year. And simply because—
Is it just broke?
No, it's just a big lifted truck and it's not as fun to drive as a car.
I figured it'd be broke down, being a Ford and all. So your truck has the EcoBoost.
It does.
If you had to compare a GM LS motor to the EcoBoost, which is better and why? Because you just have a crappy V6 in your truck. What happened to the raw American V8?
Depends on your definition of better. I actually chose the EcoBoost simply because it was different and I knew it would piss people off, and simply because it's faster. So it's extremely fun when you line up next to a Chevy or GM truck and you blow their doors off, and I'm still lifted on 35-inch tires and can blow the doors off with a V6. So that's very enjoyable and makes me feel good.
Still doesn't sound right. It's
No,
a truck
not at all.
and it makes super weird noises.
You can never make it sound as good as a V8, and I will never argue that. However, it is faster and it's funny to beat people with a V6.
All right, I'll take it. So how does your EcoBoost F-150 handle your wheel and tire setup? And you might want to kind of explain what exactly you got going on with your truck.
So on my F-150, I have an 8.5-inch lift. It's about 5 lifts put together in one to achieve 8.5 inches because no one made that size. And I have 22x14 fuel nuts and 375 Nittos, which is a 35.5 by 15-inch wide tire. So definitely not something you would recommend putting on a half-ton truck, and especially a V6. It handles them well, but my gearing is 355s, so that's pretty poor. And I noticed an extreme power loss when I went from a 20x12 35 to a 22x14 35 by 15. It was immensely bad power loss, but it still can beat normal Chevys, like Banker's. I'm sure he'll be on one of these episodes.
Banker's truck is barely running.
It's a Chevy, what can you expect?
What first drew you to a Ford versus the other brands?
Yeah, I did touch on it mainly. I mean, my parents have always had Fords. We've probably gone through 10 different trucks, and my parents always bought the newer model as it came out. But one of the biggest things is interior. I know that some of the Denali's nowadays have really high-end interiors, and they are very comparable, but back in, I would say, 2010, 2012, when I was looking for a truck, nothing compared to the interior on my FX4. The attention to detail, the trim pieces were all blowing all other competition out of the water. And overall exterior look, I simply liked it better.
Probably agree with you on that one. I think back then GM had a lot of like really basic plastic.
Yeah.
Even in like their higher trim levels of truck,
Yep.
wasn't looking very good, especially compared to the FX4 that you've got. So that
Agreed.
one Ford can take a win on. Ford stands for something, right? What was that? Found on road dead? How many times have you been left stranded by the Ford?
None.
Then why don't you drive it?
GT350.
Or is there something wrong with the Ford, Kirk?
There is a timing chain rattle.
Ah, there it is.
Which is very common on the early model EcoBoosts. And the day is coming where I have to fix it and I just don't care to, and the GT350 is more fun to drive. But that was fixed on the newer model EcoBoost. But yeah, that was definitely an issue with early models like mine. Nice rattle whenever you start it up. It goes away after you start it.
Awkward.
It's never broken down though.
It's because you don't ever drive it.
Hey, it's Still counts.
We live in Wisconsin. Many people in Wisconsin drink beer. Busch Light is probably a really common one. Miller Lite, often found in aluminum cans. You drink beer. What do you think of your beer cans being used to make the new Fords, since they're aluminum?
Luckily mine isn't. However, my dad has two. He has a 16 F-150 and a 17 F-250, both aluminum bodied, and they're fine. We have had no issues.
Well, he hasn't been in a crash where it peels open like a sardine can.
However, I have seen multiple pictures of Chevys that do the same. I mean,
hopefully it helps with rust. Your truck doesn't have like rust on it, just like the frame underneath.
Normal stuff.
But that's
body
living in
rust,
Wisconsin, that's what happens, but no body rust. So.
Clean up body rust, thankfully rather.
You also, did you drive it in the winter last year?
No.
Year before?
4 years, 4 winters.
It's been 4 years since you've driven it in the winter?
No, 4 winters, and I haven't driven it for 2 winters. Question mark.
Why don't you ever drive your truck?
I feel like I answered this already. One, because I have a GT350.
You can't just keep bringing in the car as the excuse.
If I didn't have that, I would definitely drive my truck more often.
Really? Then why'd you buy the Jetta?
To use as a winter vehicle. Jetta's my winter beater. GT350 is my fun fast car.
You just got that, it doesn't count.
I got it early
Take
this
it out
summer.
of the picture.
Okay.
You were driving the truck every day, and then you stopped, and you bought a Jetta.
Mainly because it was $100 a week in fuel. Because with those huge wheels and tires, it doesn't matter if it's a V6 or a V8, you still get...
I thought the V6 was supposed to be good on gas.
Oh, it is. Stock, I could get 21 all day, and it was beautiful. Do anything, put anything behind it, throw bigger wheels and tires, and you instantly get 16, and then you lifted it and put my wheels and tires, and I get like 11.
Ooh, that's rough.
A Jetta that gets 40 miles per gallon, and a GT350 that also gets very poor gas mileage, but it's fun to drive.
Yeah, I wouldn't even pay attention to the gas mileage in a GT350.
Especially when you're on E85.
What is your dream truck? Could be any brand.
I built my dream truck, and that's why I don't want to sell it, is because it's literally the truck that I've always dreamed about having, with everything I've wanted on it. So it's tough. I think the only thing I could think of is probably a new Super Duty. Built up essentially the same, just the new Super Duty with the 6.7, simply because they look amazing, and I'm sick of gassers and terrible gas mileage and lack of power. Still get terrible fuel mileage, but you'd have a ton more power.
That's true. So there you go, that's 10 questions for Ford Guy asked by us here at Custom Offsets. If you have any questions that you want us to ask some sort of demographic, please drop them in the comments below. If you want to check out our channel, we should have a big subscribe button, probably pops up right about here. If you want to watch other videos, you can find them on my left or my right. If the video guys did it right and it pops up, and they should be somewhere around here, or they'll just be floating randomly and I don't know where they're going to be, or you might be watching it on Facebook and then they're not here at all and you're super confused, but you just got to come out to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, like us. Peace.